Hello everyone and welcome back to Eve Market, your weekly look at the amarr market. Uh, Nothing really special for this week except that the terrible attacks in Paris this Friday. I really live with them, all those people that has got wounded, lost people. It's really terrible what happened. I want to know what your thoughts about it, but it's just, yeah, it's terrible what happened there. A lot of dead people, a lot of wounded. It's really bad. So, but yeah, nothing to say about that. Empire is really, it's terrible. Let's look at the market here. That's what we're here for. Titanium. Titanium is slightly going up in price. Again, we're heading for the 6x per unit again. It was a little bit lower, heading towards the 580, but now it's covering again towards the 6x per unit, and it looks like it's gonna perfectly stay around there and not gonna change anything to it. Just this is the normal price, 6x per unit for titanium, and that's a pretty normal price for now. Seller's price 610, buyer's price 5.89. That's exactly 10 cents higher than last week's. 5.79 was last week's price, a slight increase here on the price, like we saw in the graph. A pretty normal price. There's some big orders up here. Some bigger buy orders here, 1 billion units, even one, but not too bad. And ferrite. Ferrite is yeah, it was really a little bit of an uptrend. It doesn't seem to have done too much this week. Dropped a little bit, went a little bit up again. Yesterday said they were even higher. It looks on overall ferrite is still slightly going up in price, and this will keep on going for maybe another week or something. It's a little bit slow on responding for when they announced the citadels. Well, it did respond a bit to it, but it's responding even more now. So yeah, this is maybe an additional tail of the jump up for citadels, for the minerals they need for it. So that's a possibility. And seller's price 11.97, the buyer's price 11.70, higher than last week's. 11.51 was last week's price, so clearly it's going up, also like the graph said. Then we have Maxlon. Maxlon is still very stable. It's really very slightly going down, but it's so little. It's going down. It's sitting around the 6 is. I think it's trying to stay around the 6 is because it's 60x. 6x should be a nice price. 60x per unit. It is currently like for almost a week sitting like on that, and I think this is a pretty normal price for Maxlon. It's really currently not moving. It's very slightly dropping in price, but that's about it. 61 is for the sellers. 59.98 for the buyers. That is slightly higher than last week. 59.33 was last week's price. It is slightly higher, but not a lot. The seller buyers is staying around to 60. This one's gonna be more around 62, 62 and a half. Gonna stay around that price. Hydrogen is still on the drop on price. We are going below the 110 for this. Today was a little bit high, but it's pretty. No, it's not too early Sunday, but it is still a little bit high. This can still go down, but you see from majority of the week we're sitting below the 110 line, and it's clearly still dropping in price for oxygen. 111.99 for the sellers and 108.31 for the buyers. Buyers price went slightly up, not really a huge amount. 108.07 was last week's price. It's a slight increase, but not too much. They have Noxium. Like I said, Noxium was already going up, did hit its bottom price a few weeks ago, clearly starting to go up now. We're going above 480 now. Even spike yesterday, it's almost to the 490, 485 around here. There was also one here. Noxium clearly starting to go up in price, because it was really low a few weeks ago, like here. That's 450, 455 around here. That was really lowest price, and now starting to go up again, getting towards a higher price. So Noxium on the uptrend for the price. Seller's price 497.06. Buyer's price 468.45. Clearly higher than last week, that was 463.78. So that one is clearly going up, and it looks like there's a pretty even demand and supply on this one at least. Then we have Zynuit. Zynuit is still pretty stable, with a slight up here in the beginning of this week, then it started dropping again. It was even like a week ago, a slight uptrend on the price for Zynuit. It recovered again towards pretty much its normal price around the 1100. And pretty much this whole week it's been staying around that. A slight higher price yesterday, but only slightly, it's not too much. So Zynuit pretty much very stable at the 1100, or at least around the 1100 price. 1125.54 for the sellers, and 1080.81 rounded up for the buyers. So this is a pretty high one, because the next one is 1055. It's a lot lower. Don't know why he's put up this high price. There's clearly a pretty decent supply on the market. It's seen 1 million units, 1 million, 1 million, 1 million. A lot of orders over a million. Here's even almost 9 million units. Well, buyers all about in the hundreds and thousands. So yeah, it's pretty even supply versus demand. So it's gonna pretty much stay stable around this price. Last week's price was 1091. So it is a slight drop in the price for Zynuit. Let me take a look at Megasite. Megasite is also clearly still dropping, except for the Saturday. It's starting to suddenly recover again for a lot higher price. But most of the week it's been dropping. It dropped to about 1320, below the 1300 even, almost 1280. And then here it's already recovered a little bit on the Friday towards the 1300 mark. And then suddenly yesterday it was sitting already above the 1360 again. Today a little bit lower. Looks like Megasite is jumping around a bit. It has almost a feeling that it is hit its bottom point on prices, and will start going up pretty soon again. That's what I think, because it's been going down for this long. It did make a suddenly drop here, but it was bouncing around a bit, and suddenly we got a little bit higher price. It's pretty much even on this one. You see there was always a little bit of a flatter line here. So I think definitely we are about to hit the bottom point for Megasite on the price. 1360, 1370 round up for the seller's price, 1315 for the buyers. Lower than last week, 1362 was last week's price of Megasite. Then the last mineral, morphite, is pretty much still staying between the 11,000 and the 12,000. There seems to be a drop in it. Slightly dropped yesterday. We're sitting pretty much higher again with a lot of lowers here. Huge spike here, by the way. What was that? This was Sunday, Saturday, Friday, Wednesday. A huge amount of sales, probably towards the buyers, And also this made the prices drop down hugely here, below the 1020. So someone has been selling here a hell of a lot. Let's see if I can find this. Sunday, this is the Sunday? I don't know even what the date is. No, it's the 15th. Let's see, there we go, 15, that's today. Sunday, Saturday, Friday, Thursday, Wednesday. Yeah, there was a huge spike on sales on Morphi. Over 500,000 units. So that's probably a lot of buy orders being fulfilled and just pushing this price down a lot. What's making this graph dropping down a lot, and the 20-day average too. But you see that straight away next day it recovered again towards the normal price for Morphi. So Morphi basically sitting on still on the same price. Seller's price 11,600. 700 rounded up. Buyer's price 10,814. Clearly lower than last week. 11,053 was last week's price. So clearly it's starting. It has been making a drop again. What? Yeah, but it's still sitting in the same range where it's always been. Look at some salvage armor plates. Dimmed in the beginning of this week it went up. Then for the last 3 days it's been going down towards the 94,000 per unit. At least on the first day. Friday went a little bit more up high, 95,000 units also for today, sitting around that price. So armor plates is just doing its normal up and downs a bit on the price. Not doing too much on the movement. Seller's price 110,000 for more than 500 units. And for the buyers 95,010.47. That is lower than last week. 96,100 was last week's price. Then Burn Logic Circuit was really high last week. As basically most of the week has been going up, except for the last 3 days it suddenly dropped down towards about 58,000 per unit. And also staying around that price. Saturday was a little bit higher on price. For today we're seeing a little bit more at the 58,000 mark again. But this still can go up more sales over the day. Yeah. I don't know what this one is gonna do next week, really. If we look at the Friday and the Saturday, it probably will start crawling back up again, unless there's more supply coming towards the market. Then we're probably gonna see a drop in the price. There's a big one up here, 60,500 per unit for the sellers. And also a big order up, so I'm expecting the price more to go up next week. So buyer's price 58,206.70. Again higher last week, 75,751 was last week's price. And this is again a new record price for this year on Burn Logic circuits. Then Friday interface circuits was sitting pretty much around the 5,400 per unit. They suddenly made a huge drop this week. They suddenly dropped to about 4,300 per unit. Back up to 5,000. Dropped down to 4,400. Saturday we're sitting at about 4,500. Today we're sitting again at 4,800. Very unstable. Prices are just jumping around a lot with 800 ish per unit. Very unstable at the moment. Maybe a lot of difference between buyers and sellers. But on average the 20-day is still going up, but that probably will respond pretty soon in the next few days, starting to drop too. So very unstable on the Friday interface circuits. Not too many buyers, by the way. Seller's price 4,998. That's 26 units. I say, oh, it's more than 500 units, so 4,998 still. That's 1,000 units even. That's good. That's the last one before we're hitting the 5,000. There is a decent amount, but I think, yeah, probably the price will go up next week. And then the buyer's price 4,500. That has dropped compared to last week. That was 5,404, and now dropped to 4,500. So it's clearly a pretty decent drop on the price for fighting the face circuits. So clearly it has dropped towards more this price here on the buyer's leads. Melted capacitor consoles still stable at this flat at the 7,500. Yesterday a small spike towards 8,000, but it's sitting pretty much on the same line and not moving at all. Now then there's some sales and you see the price change. But even here a huge spike on sales, about 50 to 60,000 units. Didn't affect the price at all. It just stayed around the 7,500 per unit. So it doesn't matter if you sell a lot on the market. In one day the price stays on the same line. It's not even affecting melted capacitor consoles at the moment. 8,500 for the sellers, that's more than 500 units. And then 7,500 for the buyers, 7,501 even. That's the one is up compared to last week, because there was also 7,500 was last week's price. So this is one of the most stable things currently on the market here. Trip power circuits were starting to drop last week a little bit. Doing this week even more drops. Well, dropped not too much. First dropped a few thousand and seems to be starting to drop a little bit more here for today, but still early. It's maybe it's new price around here, but it's too early to say what it's gonna do. It's maybe gonna drop even more, or it's going to back up towards its normal price again. It's more something that we're gonna see next week, really what this one is gonna do. Yeah. Then for the prices, 28,900 for the sellers, 27,221 for the buyers. Clearly lower than last week. Last week's price that was 30,000 flat. I have one more thing left. That's the Plex. Plex is starting to go back up again. I think the sales of these things were over. I'm not even sure, but they're starting. They spiked up early this week towards the 1.2 billion again. Starting to drop below the 1.18 billion again, and for today we're starting to go back up again to about 1.19 billion is per Plex. Plex doesn't really have currently a stable spot. It's really moving around a lot. Seller's price about 1.2 billion ISK. Buyer's price 1.172 million. Still, that's an increase compared to last week. That was 1.195 million. So Plex has going up again. I don't know if the Plex sales ended. I think it did. But I'm not even sure about that even. So this was this week's look at the amarr market. See you all next week again. No live stream, by the way, because I have another birthday party in about 1.5 hours. So no time for streaming today. Let's see if I can do it some other day this week. I know I'm gonna be sitting. No, don't have time for it this week. Maybe Friday. Not 100% sure. But we'll see. Thanks for watching and see you all next week. Fly safe.